Hi Rohit, could you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Now it is okay.
Yeah, it's much better now.
Thank you. Thank you for confirming. So I'll start my I'll start today. So yeah, this is Annapurni. I'll be the JMeter and in Dynatrace integration trainer for you all. I have nearly 9 years of experience, and currently I'm working in a product-based company. I'm a performance engineer, senior performance engineer over there. So let's go to JMeter and how to work on that. JMeter is really an interesting tool. You really will have fun over working over that. So first of all, I wanted to show how do we install JMeter and what is required for that. So you just need to have Java, so the JMeter will work. I just went to Oracle Java, and from there I so this is the Oracle Java page from where you can download the Java. And here I have just went to Windows. If you are suppose using Apple Mac, then you can go here. Over window, I just chose this x64 installer. So I just clicked on this. It got downloaded, and after downloading, I just went to this path. My PC, Windows, and program files inside Java. I went to JDK19 and Ben. So this is my Java path. I can bring this over chat. So this would be everyone's Java file. This path, you have to set it in your environment variable so that the JMeter will know where the Java is. I just went to environment variables in your control panel and then clicked on environment variables. So these are the paths we define. So here I went to path. Here I clicked on new. Then I copy pasted the Java path here. Then click OK. I have sent the path also to you over chat. So the next step should be you have to download JMeter. So I went to Apache JMeter and here download releases. Here under binaries, I'm choosing this 5.5. So here you can see the downloads. I'm just going to the Windows program files. So you just have to go to JMeter and then bin, and here is your jar. So to know whether the right version of Java is installed, I just opened my command prompt and gave Java space hyphen version. So this will tell me what Java I have in my system.
Which version onwards we have to install the Java?
5.5. So this is your JMeter tool. We have successfully installed it and we have set the Java path. So JMeter has multiple components. This is called test plan, and under this test you will be creating your test script so that you can test some website. So, generally speaking, what is performance engineering? Performance engineering, manual testing, you all will know. For example, if there is a Gmail website, you have to go to Gmail and then you just have to enter your username and password and click enter. For example, this page I have to test. So, what test cases I would be doing? I'll have a generated mail ID. I'll create an account and the I'll have a mail ID after creating an account. That mail ID I'll be inputting into the mail name and then I'll give my password and hit enter. I'll give a wrong password and try whether it's working fine or not. I'll give wrong mail ID and see what is the response the Gmail website is giving. So this is what they do for manual testing. They have all happy and negative scenarios and then try it out and see whether there is a valid success message, valid error response. But if you have to measure the performance, what you have to do is you have to create a script in your JMeter and then you have to hit the website from JMeter. So why do we do this? For example, performance testing is nothing but you have to measure how the system is responding based on the load, high load. For example, if there is a big billion day in Amazon, there would be a huge crowd than the usual crowd. So they just have to make sure whether they can handle billions of people across the world at the same time, so that they have to handle them, and also they should not crash, they should not show any error, they should not make any problem with the payments. All those things they have to make sure whether the system is capable of doing I mean, working on the heavy load. They just have to make sure. Otherwise, what would happen usually is the server will crash down, then the user will face issues and the sales will be reduced. They all will be logging off and the sales won't happen properly. So every other platform like Netflix, YouTube, Amazon, Flipkart, they have to do a performance testing when they expect a load and when they're expecting a future load. For example, I have created an application this year and I'm slowly attracting my clients. But I know down the line, 3 years down the line, I'll be having huge number of clients in my application. So I just have to anticipate the future load and then I have to apply it to know whether my system is able to handle the load. So this is a little more different from functional testing. Functional testing, you just check whether the system is able to do all the function, whether all the buttons are working, whether the labels are right, whether the messages which the system is giving is right. But this is, you're going to check whether my system is able to handle. So, for example, if I have to check some websites so that, for example, if I wanted to check if it could handle 10 people at a time when they log in 10, when 10 people logs in at a time, whether my system is able to respond to it properly, it doesn't break. So how do I check that? Do I have to give 10 computers to 10 different people and ask them to log in at the same second? Actually, it's not possible because if it is 10, you can do, but if it goes to 1,000, it would be difficult for you. And even if you give 1,000 system to 1,000 different people, they might not be logging it at the same second. There might be a delay. So to simulate it, I have a tool called JMeter. So what do I do? I just instead of directly going to a website, I indirectly create a script so that the script hits my website. And here I have a control like how many people I want to load. If I give thread, there is something called thread. Thread is nothing but user. If I'm giving 10 in the thread group, then 10 user will be 10 virtual logins will be happening to my system. So this is why we have JMeter in place to do the performance testing. I'll just quickly go through the components. So this is a test plan. This is a large container we have. You can store all your test scenarios here. You can have multiple test scenarios, and this is considered as a root of JMeter scripts. So I'm just, if you want to rename the test plan, I can give like, and then now under the test plan, I'm adding a thread group. So this is nothing but number of people. Here I can mention 10 and this is ramp up second. Here you are telling after how many seconds you have to load the system. This just gives some few seconds for the user to load. So all the user login, all the user load, and then they log in. And then I have to tell how many times this should happen. I can simulate like after 10 user logs in, I want one more 10 user. I want other more 10 user. So you can mention the loop here. So if you give 3 loop, the first 10 user will be logging in, and then immediately the second set of 10 user will be logging in. Then the third set of 10 user will be logging in. So if I give infinite, it will go on. and I can specify how long. If for example I don't want 10 user to log in, I mean I don't want to mention how many times a 10 user should log in, but I can give, like I have to give you infinite, and then here I have to mention the thread lifetime. Here I can give the time. For example, I want this to happen for next 1 minute, so I give 60 seconds. Or I just want to simulate this for next 5 minutes. I just give 300 seconds. So for the next 5 minutes, how many times it could load? It will load that many 10 users. So you can control all the user details here. For now, I'll keep it as two loops. And then here I'm going to give HTTP request. So this is where I will tell which system I have to go under that particular desktop or application, which path I have to choose and what I have to hit there. So here you have to add the URL and then the path and the port number, and then whether you have to give whether it is get request or post request. Since this is a demo, I'm not going detail into the HTTP request types, but I'll take a separate day to explain what are the HTTP request type we have, what is the difference between them, all those things. So now I can show you how to test some website. Maybe I'll use this. Okay, for now I'll use this Apache website to do my testing. Guys, please don't use any Amazon or Flipkart or any other website to do your load testing. There is a separate dedicated website. I'll give you the link over there. There you can perform all your testing. Because if somebody gets to know that you are loading their system from your script, it's something called illegal, because you're not actually logging in and you are trying to load their system and then break it. So please don't do that. So here, for example, I want to click overview. Oh, so this is overview. Okay, I want to click download releases. So this is what I want to do. I want to click through my JMeter. So how do I do this? So we will first understand what happens when you click this download releases. Okay, so I'll go back to the previous page. So I'm just giving inspect elements. I'll just show you what happens when I click on download. So here I go to network and then here fetch XHR. So I'll explain detailedly about all these inspect element in one of the classes. This is called development tool. We have in all the Chrome browsers. So here I just went to network and then I gave fetch XHR. Now you just have to watch this. I'm just clicking on download releases. So at the back end, what happening is, okay, I'll go back one more time. Okay, I'll just click on download releases. you just see so many JavaScript, everything are running in the background, which is created to load the script. I'm just clicking on Twitter. Okay, this is something called recording button. I will stop this. So even if I go and click now something, for example, I'm clicking on follow, it will not load all the things here for you because I have stopped the recording. So yeah, let's see what's happened in the background when I just clicked on the Twitter button. So we are calling this API. Okay. So this is what happening in the background. So most of the web services are created in the form of API. We will see what API is. So in the front end you will see a button, but in the back end something will be called for this button to work. So most of them the API. So we are using the method called post. So you remember we saw here the HTTP request type get post. So it is post. So when I go and check the payload, so when I call this, while calling this API, I give a payload. So this is a payload this is an XML. So I just paste that. So we are giving, okay, I haven't copied it. Okay. So we are giving this as a payload. We just give what all, the API is expecting. So each API would be expecting some input, some kind of input, and it will process it and it will give you the output. So the input is called request in terms of API, and the output is called response. Based on the response, the UI will show you the details. So these are actually created based on the response. So for example, if I give sign in with Google, I just pass my email ID there. So here for this API, when I click on this background, some API will be calling. So when that for that API, the payload would be like my mail ID. Mail ID is a mandatory thing for that API to check whether the mail ID is available associated with this Twitter. I mean, which can be associated with this Twitter. So it will send a request with my mail ID, and it will expect many other input form. We will send the API will gather all those things, and it will send to the particular path. I mean, so the request is sent to this particular target. So we are sending the request to this target, and it will process it. If there is a mail ID, it will return back some response. If I don't have mail ID, it will return back a different response. So based on the response we receive, so this is a payload, this is a request we are sending, and this is a target we are hitting this target with this payload, so that the payload is processed and we receive the response here. So in this particular API, there is no response available. So otherwise, usually it will be like a Gmail ID exists, something like that kind of response will be given back from by this target. So what we are going to do here in JMeter, I'm just going to give the target target URL. For example, from here HTTPS to website. This is website, right? Twitter.com. API.twitter.com. I'm just going to give the API.twitter.com, and in the path, so whatever comes after this .com is the path. So inside that, I'm going to give this, and in the body, what would I do is I'll take this payload. I'll take this payload and pay, so that what is happening by clicking on by actually now I can run the test. Now what would happen is here we are directly going and clicking on Twitter button. We click on Twitter button over JMeter. So I'm just simulating it, simulating that when what happens and when I click on Twitter button, I give that here over here, so that it's like here we don't have any Twitter button to click. But when you run this, it's like it's sending this payload to this particular target. So it's like clicking on the Twitter button, though you don't have that. So I can give a thread group 10. I'll just give one. I don't want to load this into their website. So now, I mean, we also wanted to know when we hit the, I mean, send the request to that particular target, what we are getting back, whether we are getting any proper response, or what kind of response we are getting, we need to know. So to monitor that, I'm just adding a listener, which will keep listen what happens when we hit this target. Some response will be coming, right? This listener will keep listening to it. When there is a response, it will capture and it will show us here. So I'll just go click on the start button. So this is a JMX. In future, if I want to open this JMX, I can go and directly open this JMX. This is kind of like you're saving your script. So this script got saved. So I clicked on twice. So two different requests got generated. So we are not sending the request. We have. So here in request, you will see what a request we had sent, and in response, so here it's telling illegal character, because we are not sending, we are sending a null data, so it's telling illegal character. So this is how we can see here. It is in red color because it got filed. If it's passed, it will show you in green color. So on it, and then check the request what you had sent, and you can check why it has failed. You can check the response here. And here it will tell at what time you did this and how long it took. I mean, this as null request, but if you load something, I mean, if there is a few seconds would have taken, right, for you to go and hit the target, and then the process will be happening in the background, and then in the server, and then we will get the response back. Here it will tell what is the load time. So if somebody is asking how long does this button takes to respond, you can just simulate it here, and you can check it here. So you can tell it took nearly 30 seconds, or whatever second it took. You can tell how long it is taking to respond back. So this is called response time. We have few metrics in performance testing world. One of that is response time, which is always required to measure the performance of particular API. So some API would be responding back in 1 second, some will be in 30 seconds. It's based on the process it does and also the network, everything all together. So you can tell this is a response time of this particular API. This is what the team would be expecting from a performance testing team. You have to measure all the metrics related to that particular API. If a website is consist of 100 API or 10 API, you have to create a script for all those 10 API, and then you just can click here and all the 10 APIs will be running subsequently. So here I have given thread group 1. I'll make it loop count 2. That thread group 1, which means one user, I want to loop it for 2 times. And I'm just saving it. I'll just go to view tree. To remove this, I'm just giving this. So this is removed. So fresh test will be started here. So see, at a time, 2 is getting generated. One more time, 2 more threads are generated. 2 more threads are loaded to that particular website. So this is all about today's demo. Um, if you have any question, you can ask me now.
Hi, Annapurni. This is Deepti. Can you just go back to the
Yeah, we actually
downloads?
recorded the session and the recording will be given by the Isha training people. You can contact them. So they just will give you the recorded video. You can watch it if you couldn't watch over this. So guys, if you have any doubts,
Hi.
any question, you can ask me here. You can raise your
Yeah.
hand.
Hi. This is Sunil. Can you just walk us through what all we are going to cover as part of this course? You're not audible.
Hi Rahul,
Hello, I was trying 4 or 5 times before to
you
complete the
can ask your question
installation.
now.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
asking.
yeah, go
Oh,
on.
okay. Thank. Uh, Actually, I asked a question and then it went mute altogether. I couldn't hear anything, or I'm not sure if you heard me. This is Sunil. I was asking, can we get a small, quick walkthrough, like all the uh, things? What are we going to cover as part of this course?
Rahul, I couldn't hear you. You are able to unmute yourself?
Annapurni, this is Sunil. Can you hear me?
I guess she's facing some issue. Might be Sunil, you can drop a message in the chat better. Because I also have the
Yeah.
same question like what areas she going to cover? Like different
Uh,
protocols, master slave concepts,
Yeah,
API
right.
performance, what kind of because these are very basic JMeter. I agree it's today's first session, but I think we need more detail, like advanced JMeter sort of.
Yeah, hi Anpun, this is also my question.
I guess she's facing problem. Maybe better we guys put a message, what I understood.
Rahul, could you hear me? I just connected to my mobile.
yeah, I can hear you. So Sunil and someone else was asking you some questions. So I don't think so you heard them. But what I was trying to ask you, I was trying to install my JMeter, but every time it didn't complete and it shows Java version is not recognized as an internal or external command. So I don't know why it was happening and it is still incomplete.
Yeah, Rahul. I mean, we can do it over screen share. I can contact you separately.
Okay, sure.
I'll
Yeah.
just send you the WhatsApp group. We can connect together, and I'll over screen share. I'll see what is the issue, and I can help you out there.
Okay, thank you.
We can take
Annapurni,
that off.
this is Sunil. Am I audible now?
Yeah, Sunil.
Yeah. So I was just asking earlier if you can walk us quickly through the course content and what are the things we are going to cover as part of this course.
Okay, 1 minute. So I hope the content plan is available in the website. I have given them the content plan. You can go and check in website, but I'll also say here what all I have given in the content plan. Give me a moment, please.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, first I'd be taking you through Java setup and JMeter setup. Java is definitely needed for JMeter, so because it's a tool developed over Java. So which is then I'll show you how to do Dynatrace setup, because we also will be integrating Dynatrace into through the to the JMeter. So I'll be doing all those setup, and I'll be just explaining what is performance testing, because some people might be from manual background, manual testing background, automation scripting, script testing background. They would like to move to performance. So for them, I'll explain what is a performance testing and why do we need the performance testing in real world, and what all the key performance metrics we need to monitor, we need to record after our test and publish it to the team. So we are doing this test and we have to capture some metrics, and then we have to convey that to the team. So this is my test result. I'll be talking about work. I'll be taking a walkthrough on KPI, key performance metrics, and then I'll show all the JMeter components, what all the components we have. Like here we have multiple components inside each, we have different elements. I'll show you what all it is and why do we use them. And then here I have created a JMeter plan. I have opened a HTTP request, and there I have given the API detail, right? We can, instead of doing it manually, we can record it over the website. You can click on the recording button, you can go to the website, you can click on the Twitter button. The script will already be created in the JMeter automatically through the recording. I'll show you how to do it over recording. And when you're using some website, you will be clearing the cookie, right? So that settings, how to do cookie and header manager, those settings I'll be giving in. And for some website, you would have to pass on different detail. For example, if I'm logging in the Gmail, I'm going to check that particular function. I'm just going to load on that particular function. So I wanted to log in with 10 different users. I want to see if 10 different users are able to log in at a time. So I just have to give 10 different email ID. How do I pass it in JMeter? I just have to, because here I'm not creating 10 different requests. I'm creating one request. I'm giving one user 10 times or 10 user one times, right? So I just have to pass a different email ID every time. So there is an option, we can paste all the email ID in an Excel format. We can load it into the JMeter. So I'll just show how to do that configuration. And in some cases, one particular API will return a request which will be passed to the next particular API. So the output of one API will be the input of the next API. How to derive the output from one API and pass it in the next API through the scripting? I'll show you that, because you need not go and manually get the response and put it in the request of the next API. The JMeter tool can do it automatically. And all the other components in the JMeter, all the main components I'll be covering, and we will be seeing Groovy scripting. I'll give a introduction on Groovy operator, and we cannot actually load using this tool. We have a CLI mode of this tool. So through that CLI mode, you can load multiple users. I'll show how to do that. And then I'll do JMeter and Dynatrace integration. So whenever you do some request, you need not check in view request response in the JMeter. You can open your Dynatrace. You can see everything over there. Why do we use Dynatrace? Is we have many other metrics, we can easily see it over Dynatrace. So we'll be integrating the JMeter with Dynatrace and we'll be monitoring all the tests over there. And for some particular API, you just have to upload a file. For example, if you have a website where we are uploading a file and testing whether it can handle it, in that case, you how to do the upload through JMeter, because here we are just giving the payload and the request and the target detail. We are not giving a passing any file. So how you would be doing if you have to pass a file? I'll be showing you that. And yeah, I will also show how to frame a mail with all the result and how to convey the result, whether it how till how long it could handle the load, and after which load it started breaking, the system got crashing. How to convey this over mail to the team member or the project manager. I'll be showing that. So these are all the topics I'll be covering in this course.
And distributed, if we have to distribute load onto multiple systems and then simulate the test using multiple machines as load generators or something, even those will be there, like.
Yeah, they will be covered.
And JSR 223 or the bean shell
Yeah, they will be
will.
covered. I actually didn't specify that JSR 223 sampler because some people who are not aware of JMeter, they might not be knowing what I'm talking. So, but all the components inside the JMeter will be covered, including the Groovy, Dynatrace.
Dynatrace would be only the integration, right? So then we can
Yeah,
watch our track.
integration and correct. Yeah, how to integrate your Dynatrace testing here, and how to monitor it over Dynatrace. How to monitor over Dynatrace and how to capture the result from Dynatrace. That would be covered.
Workload also would be there, right? Like uh, based on the volume, detail, or
Yeah, right.
the load. Okay.
So workload modeling would be like you will just have to know the current workload of your system, like what's happening in your production, how many clients are working daily, and which particular function is used frequently. So all those detail we collect from the production and then we simulate it here. That would be covered, yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's it.
Annapurna. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, hi, it's Amit. I have just few questions. Okay. When I
Mm-hmm.
see your syllabus, there are few things which, like, I just want to confirm. Are we going to cover different protocols as well in HTTP? Are
Yeah.
we going to cover only desktop application or web application? And are we going to cover few scenarios like database performance testing or API performance testing, anything like that? And the distributed
Yeah.
testing in JMeter, what we do master's level. Because I have a background of
Correct.
JMeter, but after a long time I'm come back to JMeter. So I just want to brush up all things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I asked this all these questions.
Yeah. All the database will be covered.
Okay.
So
So
will there
Amit,
be still
mm-hmm.
some more demo classes, or we will be heading into the regular classes soon?
No, this is the final demo session, and after this, we would be directly heading into the course. I mean,
Oh,
you have a course content, each topic I'll be going in that order. So, to the previous question, I just want to confirm that we are doing web service testing, database testing, and file upload testing, and also a functional testing over JMeter. So, these four topics will be covered from the perspective of testing.
Okay. Thank you.
So if there is no more question, we can end the session now. And somebody initially asked me, Rahul, I believe he asked me to install. I mean, the first class will be like the first day will be like Java setup and JMeter setup, where I can show you that, and I'll give time for you people to install. If you have, I mean, facing any issue, I'll be addressing in that session.
I tried 3 or 4 times, but every time it shows Java version is not recognized as an internal or external command.
Yeah, shall we take it over the next session anyway, because I'll be covering that for everybody here.
So are you going to help me after this session to install this one, or I need to wait for next session?
You can wait for next session, because there I'll be showing how to do, and I'll be helping everybody out over there.
Because I wanted to study before going to the or some practice before starting the
Yeah,
next
then
session.
you can, yeah, fine. You can contact me over the WhatsApp group, and I'll contact you privately.
I am just after this class, I'm going to text you on WhatsApp.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
So guys, yeah, we can end the session if nobody is having any questions. You guys can contact the, I mean, I guess Anita, Kalyani there in the WhatsApp group. You just can tell that if you're going to enroll, you can inform them, so that the next session, which will be, I guess, on Monday, we will start from Monday,
Yeah,
will
thank
be
you.
having our next session.
Yeah, thank you, Anupuni, for the session.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody. We can leave the session now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.